Welcome everyone to my channel Taj Edge online classes. In the series of statistics for business section 1 of first semester BBA, Bengaluru City University, I have started Unit 2, Data Collection, Organization and Visualization. In this unit, I have already covered the syllabus and the difference between data and information in video 1. And in my video 2, I have explained the data in a business environment. In the video 3, today I will be discussing on the collection of data. You know what actually matters when you are learning the statistics? You might have already learned it in my previous unit 1 videos. The meaning of statistics itself begins with the word. Statistic is a scientific or systematic process of collection of data, right? The word collection of data is the first word which arises when we are learning the meaning or the definition of statistics. So what does collection of data means? As you have already learned the meaning of data, that data is something raw, factual figures, information which is not yet processed, right? That we need to collect it. For example, let's say you are starting a hotel business. Let's say you are starting a canteen in your college campus. For starting that canteen in your college campus, what will you do? First, you need to collect the data from the targeted customer. Who can be the targeted customers for you? That is samples we say. Who can be the samples for you? That can be the teachers who can visit your canteen, consume food. That can be the students in your campus. Let's say if you have around 200 teachers in your campus and 6,000 students from all the courses. Along with that, you may have 100 extra office staff or any other staffs, cleaning staff, group D level staffs, right? Now, approximately you have around 6,000 to 6,500, 1,300 people in your campus. So for that, if you want to start a canteen in the campus, it is not like you're simply bringing the all required infrastructure, money, the materials and everything. You are simply start preparing a food, and you can't expect that the people will come and buy it. There was a time when people used to buy it, whatever you are offering. But nowadays, the people won't buy what you are offering. People buy only what they actually want to eat, right? What they actually like. So for that purpose, before you start a business, important that you can collect the data from the people who can be the samples for you, for your business, who can be customers. So here, the data which you collect from the customers can be that what type of food they are preferring to have. What is their perspective towards the hygienity? What is their expectations from the canteen? And what kind of prices they are expecting? If we charge high prices, how would be their reaction? If we charge low prices, how many customers attract? For understanding all this, we need to collect the data from the targeted customers. That can be 6,000 or 6,300. You may ask, how is it possible to collect the data from 6,000 to ma'am? But if you want to succeed in your business, it is necessary to collect the data. Today, whichever the top level performing businesses you are seeing, they are relying on the collection of. Once they collect the data, based on that, they are producing the product and selling it. That's why people are buying it in the market. Or else, if you don't understand the customer's perspective, their expectations, then it's difficult for us to sustain in the market. So here, collection of data is most important for business, or even in a college. Let's say a teacher want to give a best performer award, and simply a teacher cannot enter a class, choose one person who is the favorite student of that particular teacher, and cannot say that this student is the best performance student. Is that really uh, a proper judgment? Do you think that? No, right? Then what is your expectation? You will think, oh, ma'am could have collected the information from all of us based on our performance, attendance in our semester examination, in class interactions, and our overall performance in the extracurricular activities. How do we go and participate in the different colleges, in the management cultural events, our participation in like NCC, NSS, Rangers Rovers, or other activities. Once the ma'am collected all this data, based on that she could have awarded the best performance student, right? That is your expectation. And in reality also, a teacher must do like that only. A teacher must collect the data properly, gather the facts and figures, later organize the data properly, analyze it. After analyzing it, interpreting it, to decide who can be the best performer of that class. So here the collection of data means the data collection of the data means the process of gathering the facts. The process of gathering the facts, figure, to study or analyze something. I hope that you have understood the meaning of that with the examples which I have explained you now. Let's further understand the techniques of data collection. Now, the two major techniques of data collections which has been segregated and mentioned in your syllabus also. The first one is that census technique. Second one is that sampling technique. Let's take an example of our India. As you know, India is a country, right, with hundreds of crores of population. You have heard the word census. Now approximately you belong to 18 to 21 years of age, right? You have heard the word census. Census means when the data is collected from the population, from the whole population. You know that once in 10 years, government of India collects the data from the population through the technique of census. There, each the teachers or the data collectors visits the homes. Okay? Door to door they visit, they collect the data from the people, the home. They ask them the questions like how many members are in home, what is the age of those people, what is the qualification, and they will get to know how many people are educated, how many are leaving the education after 10th or before 10th, what is their job, what is their earning. Such kind of questions will be asked during the census. So all that data from the population, when it is collected, it becomes census technique. But let's say, why government is conducting it once in a 10 years, only one time. Once in a 10 years means only one time in a 10 years. Why it is? Because of the highest populated country is India, and collection of data itself through census techniques will take 1 to 2 years. Collection only will take 1 to 2 years. So analyzing it, interpreting it, publishing it, presenting the data, the whole process is a process of 1 to 2. So that's why it takes so much of time. Census techniques consumes time. It has to cover each and every person in the population. Whereas sampling technique is not like that. Sampling is like out of that population, if I select some of them, let's say I select only 1000 of them, collect the data from those people, that is what we call it as a samples. Like in the previous video I have given you the example, no, in the previous topic here, when I was explaining about the 6000 students and 201 teachers and 1100 office staff, that is, let's say that is a whole population in college. If you find it difficult to collect that data from whole 6300 people, if you find it to difficult to collect the data from whole 6300 people and collect it only from 630 people, that is a sample. If you collect it from all the 6300 people, then it's a census technique. So let's understand it in a further deeper way. What is census and what is sampling techniques? First, understanding the census, the meaning data is collected from every unit in the population. Like I already said, let's say 1300 people are there in your college. You collected the data from each and every person, that is census. But out of that 6300, you collected only from 630 people, that can be the 10% of that 6300. The sampling technique, data is collected from few selected units, or you collected from 500 people, something like that. Next, coverage. Census technique covers the entire population, whereas sampling covers only a part of sample of the population, only the part. This is whole population in your college, whereas 630 is just the part of that population. Sample, this is a sample of that population. Accuracy, when it comes to census, it is more accurate and reliable in decision making. If you collect the data from all the 6300 people in your college, then you will have more data, enough data. From that, whatever the information you gather, whatever the analysis you do, that will become accurate and you can trust that. That is reliability. But when you collect only from few people out of that whole population, it may be less accurate but gives some kind of good idea. Okay, so next, time required. It takes more time to collect the data, as I already said you. Census takes more time, whereas sampling takes less time. If you have more time, then you can collect the data from 6300 population of your college. But if you have less time and you want to collect it in a 10-15 days or within a 1 month, you can go with a 630 samples. Next, cost is census is more expensive. Why it is expensive? Because it needs more money, people and effort, also time. Whereas sampling technique is economical. Economical means it is less costly and resources required are also very less, as it consumes the less time. Usefulness, used when high accuracy is needed and population is small. See, why Indian government conducts census once in a 10 years? It's because they want to know, they want to administer they want to take some decisions relating to economy, society, public, different sectors like agriculture, education, hospitality, healthcare. So for that, high accuracy data is needed. That's why they go with the census. But When it comes to sampling, it is used when population is large and quick results are needed. The population is very high, but we need the results in a quickly in a shorter period time. That's why sampling techniques is useful. Example here, Indian census collects the data from every person. That's an example for census. Whereas surveying 100 customers out of 10,000 to know the product feedback is an example of a sampling technique. You might be like, see, let's say you order a food from a Zomato. When Zomato sends a feedback link asking for the review feedback about the food delivered or the delivery boy's behavior, every day it may be sending the link to around 10,000 customers. But let's say 100 customers has responded, they can still use that as a feedback for that product, right? That from that they can see how the customers are feeling. That can be the feedback, that can be the sampling. So here the census is something big, but the sampling is something a part of a census, population. Okay, census is relating to the population, samples are relating to the part of population. I hope that you have understood the meaning of collection of data. The technique of data collection here includes census and sampling. In the examination, they may ask you a question for 2 marks. What do you mean by census technique? Or what do you mean by sampling technique? Or even they ask you a question, what do you mean by a sample? So if they ask you a question, what do you mean by a sample? What would you write? Sample is a part of population. You can write sample is a part of population. It covers only one part, some part of the population. You can understand. It is less accurate and it takes less time to collect the data. Okay, so that is how you can write the meaning of census. Sampling we have discussed in the video. In the next video, we'll discuss on the classification of data.